Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to be your host today. So as you all know, today we will have 5 great companies lined up, and we have 4 investors/advisor who will lead the discussion, ask questions, and give feedbacks. And obviously, we encourage you to use chat, open your microphone if you have any question. So a few words about the Startup Club. The Startup Club is a global entrepreneur community connecting startups, companies with investors through a series of pitch nights and investment conferences like this one. We've been doing this more than 3 years, and just last year, we organized over 50 events, dozens of companies got funded, and this year we are also very active, and we are planning to have, hit the numbers of last year, even exceed that. We also provide various services such as business valuation, social media plan, fundraising, pitch deck design, and so on. So I know like many of you are investors already, but if one of your companies or one of your companies in your portfolio would be interested, you can just check our website and reach out to us. So I can just shortly, I will introduce the companies, presenting companies shortly. Then I will introduce the advisor panel, and obviously I'll let advisors to introduce themselves as well and their company. So today we have Cleo Forever Education, will be presented by Olga. They have innovative app for preschool children, which is called Cat and Clever. They already have many active users and growing really fast. Then the second company is HealthTech, presented by Rob. So HealthTech is a dedicated company to empower women with real-time actionable health knowledge. Okay, then we have Skytree, and will present by Rob. Rob Van Straten. We have 2 Robs today. So they are transforming carbon capture, harnesses carbon through patented direct air capture technology. Then we have CEPRO, presented by Damon. They construct and operate community microgrids to decarbonise new built homes in the UK. And finally, we have Fieldstream, will be presented by Stefan. They have used proprietary technologies to transform market industry. So you need to listen carefully on that one. And as I said, we have 4 advisors at the panel. So Anna from Plug and Play Tech Center, Gentian from Antler, Ryan Burke from Possible Ventures, and Cleo from Stride.VC. And I will always let them introduce themselves. So Anna, would you like to introduce yourself? Okay, yeah, then now you can open your microphone. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Hi, it's very nice to meet you. I'm Anna. I'm dialing in from Frankfurt, Germany. That's when one of our 40 offices is located. Just in a nutshell, we are a global early stage investor headquartered in Sunnyvale, but we have over 40 offices globally, and each of them specializing in specific vertical and focusing on specific investments. On top of that, we are a corporate innovation platform, so always facilitating our portfolio companies and connecting them to our corporate partners. And I'm really excited to see you pitching today.
Great, yeah, and we're very glad to have you here. And Ryan, would you like to talk about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Ryan Burke, actually dialing in today outside of Boston in the States. So I'm a venture partner with Possible Ventures. Possible was a Munich-based fund. Chris, the managing partner, is actually now in Australia. But we invest primarily in early stage, pre-seed, seed, kind of frontier tech, particularly in bio, synthetic bio, deep tech, climate tech, crypto, NFTs. Typically investing, 250 to 500,000 euros. We also support investors through a network of about 200 plus entrepreneur investors, and so have a large international network. And prior to this, I've been on the operating side as well, built a go-to-market for Envision, and worked with a company called Catalog as well.
Yeah, great introduction. Thanks, Ryan. Cleo, would you like to continue?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Cleo, dialing in from London, where our team is based. I'm a partner at Stride.VC. Stride is a London-based early stage fund focused mostly on the seed stages and occasionally pre-seed and Series A. Our team is based here, but we invest across Europe, and we're generalists, so investing both in B2B and consumer-facing companies. And we typically lead investors, so very hands-on, love working with portfolio companies, average check size 1 to 3 million pounds. Though that's not like a strict limit, we sometimes go above or below, but that's us in a nutshell.
Yeah,
Thanks, Cleo. Gentian?
yeah.
like
So
to-
next, Gentian here, calling from Berlin, where one of our 25 offices are. So I'm working for Antler, a global, very early stage VC. So what we do is we look for exceptional profiles from different spheres, bring them all together into our cohort. They find each other, and then we invest into the companies and end up forming. So it's extremely early stage, very often pre-company and also pre-idea. We usually kickstart our investment with a check of 100,000, and then we also support the founders up until Series C. In terms of the investments we've done, we've been around for about 4.5 years, and we've done about 500 investments so far in all different industries.
Great, yeah, that's impressive. Thank you, Gentian. Yeah, so we can get going with our first page, which is Clever for Education. But before we go with that, actually, I will just announce again. So every startup will be pitching 7 minutes, that followed by 15 minutes feedback, Q&A from the advisory panel, and obviously we will accept a couple of questions from the audience as well. I will set the time so to be respectful for every pitching company. Yeah, Olga, you can share your screen and start your presentation.
I'm still disabled. I cannot share. You have to enable me.
Yep, I did. Yeah, just did.
I did. Thank you. Oh, sorry. Hello, everyone. I'm Olga. I'm co-founder of Clever Forever Education. We develop gamified learning platform for preschoolers. And with our app, Cat and Clever, the children learn in a playful way and personalized. There are a lot of apps available for school children and for higher education, but almost none, remarkably less, for preschoolers. We are convinced that it is time to make a proper use of unavoidable screen time spent by our kids in our digital age. It is time to prepare our kids for growing school requirements. It is time to recognize and promote personal potential of each child. And it is time to allow parents taking a break without feeling bad while the kids are playing with digital devices. We meet these challenges with our app, Cat and Clever. It is a serious game. It is edutainment app for preschoolers aged 3 to 6. It is fully interactive. It is gamified. It hosts a combination of different learning activities. It has adaptive level of difficulties, which is enabled through machine learning techniques. It has a unique parent dashboard, which monitors progress of a child. And it uses pedagogical exercise to develop the lessons. Here you see a few screenshots of our app. There are main characters in the app, which is a cat, dog, and a mouse. And each lesson is a story. It is a funny story which involves three characters which accompany a child. So each lesson has also especially developed for it music, which is written by Kraftwerk, which are pioneers of digital music. We launched our app half a year ago, a little bit more than half a year ago, and now we account already for more than 60,000 users. And our goal this year is to reach 110,000 users. In unique parent dashboard, the parents can see which lessons the children have liked, which have they disliked, how many attempts they have needed to solve an exercise. And in the future, we would like also to add a mini Facebook feature and also calendar for the children. Of course, before developing the app, we made an extensive market analysis, and we discovered this clear gap for educational tools for preschoolers, especially in German-speaking countries. There are no existing apps with the similar as a Cat and Clever with the same USPs. USA and China are, however, far ahead of Europe with e-learning tools for preschoolers. If you look to our competitors in Europe and in the US, then we see that that means none of them has developed personalized schedule for children as we do, and none of them has done parent dashboard, which monitors the progress of a child as we do. Our main competitor is this US company ABC Mouse, which is known in all households of America just after 10 years of operations. This company has reached already now triple unicorn market capitalization, So, and if should they decide to enter European market, it could be a good exit opportunity for our company. Now to business model and to market potential. We started to offer the app free, and now we are transitioning to freemium model, starting next year with monthly subscriptions with asking for €9 per month. Total addressable market in German and English-speaking Europe accounts for 19 million users with a value of €2 billion, and even higher if we add other markets, other language markets, and if we expand the geographies. To our roadmap, we founded our company 1.5 years ago when we raised the first round seed A round with €1 million. Then we developed the German language version of the app for iPhones and iPads and started marketing campaign. This year, we have continued developing our lessons. We have now 300 activities. We added Android version of the app. We added an additional language, English, and we adopted our app for Ukrainian and Russian languages for refugee kids. This year, later on, we aim to expand further in English-speaking Europe, add additional product features related to gamification and adaptive learning, and at the end of this year, 110,000 users we are going to reach. Later on, we are going to scale up in business expand geographies further, and after 4 years of operations, we aim to have about 2 million users with the annualized revenues of 11 million euros. You see here the actual user growth. As I mentioned, we have over 60,000 users, and we developed our user base steadily over the last couple of months, whereby we were using really very limited marketing means. Here are some impressions with our users, starting from Berlin to Zurich, Nuremberg, how they're playing with our app. And now to the core team. A few words about myself. As in early childhood, I was trained to become a professional musician, but then I chose higher mathematics. Now I have PhD in mathematics, and later as CEO, I created 2 companies from scratch for big multinational companies such as ING and Swiss Re. So now I want to build up my own unicorn. So Sebastian, we started working together. We co-founded 3 years ago as of the company, and Sebastian is a very talented software engineer and software architect, and he gathered his experience with leading companies in Europe and Silicon Valley. Especially proud we are about our scientific advisory board. There are researchers from learning sciences from such renowned universities as NYU in New York. Jan is focusing on gamified learning. Then we have Manu Kapoor from ETH in Zurich and Pierre Dillenburg from EPFL in Lausanne. Now to investment opportunity, we are now running the seed B round. We would like to raise until the end of the year about 1 million euros, whereby we are going to collect the money in convertible loan on the way. there, and right now we have 300,000 committed. So how we are going to use the fund? Further product development, of course, and digital marketing. In 5 years, we would like to become market leader in gamified learning for preschoolers. We would like to expand worldwide and to become a profitable company present worldwide with 8 million profit in 25 and 11 million sales. Thank you very much. And now I'm open for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Great presentation. Great timing, by the way. Exactly at the time.
Yeah.
So, Cleo, would you like to start by giving feedback, next question?
She's on mute.
Yeah, now you can unmute yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the presentation, Olga. Yeah, super interesting indeed. I haven't seen many education apps tackling this type of age range of children. So I'm curious, from a customer's perspective, what are the main drivers for parents to adopt and to actually give this to their kids?
So as I said, the main drivers are to prepare the kids for growing school requirements. And especially in Corona times, you know, there are lots of different YouTube videos, but there is no content with qualitative content which is available for the kids. So parents are having just the apps which are like sleeping app, you know, or just one-off math app, but there are no apps which will continue educating the child while he is growing up and going to school. So they are looking for apps which have multiple subject apps, not just one app. So it is multiple subject which develops the kid further. And I think this is a major driver for the parents to join us and subscribe for our app in the future.
Got it. So it's a bit of a supplemental sort of education.
Yes, of course. So it is next to, so it is not, it is after kindergarten, you know. So if you are at home and the parents have to entertain you or to build you up, so they look for such kind of tools.
Yeah. Any further question, Cleo?
Can we all just jump in at any point? Or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. And Olga, congrats. 63,000 active users. That's impressive. Quick question, just building on what Cleo said, you had mentioned the sort of the two primary levers of differentiation or personalization of the parent dashboard. And then you show the activity, the active usage. How much of that usage is centered on the parent dashboard right now?
So we are, of course, in the very beginning of this app. So everyone who reaches the parent dashboard, you know, so they, so it maybe I would estimate 7% of the users.
Got it. Got it. And of those, you've got the two differentiators, the personalization and the parental dashboard. Like, how are you building, you know, competitive moat around those two features? You said there was the US company that potentially could enter the market. Like, how are you protecting the two primary differentiators that you have?
So actually, we cannot protect the computer programming software, you know, but we protect our brand. So, and we protect our music. Yeah, everybody can, of course, try to copy us, but first you need to understand how it has to be done. You know, it is not so easy. And by the way, we spent half of our money which we raised just for technology. So the app is fully interactive, and the parent dashboard is also needs to gather statistics, which is not obvious. You know, they are not obvious on the surface, so that everybody can do that right away. You know, so you need to understand how to do that, to deal with statistics.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Anna, Gentian, would you like to jump in as well?
Yeah, sure. Maybe I will kind of circle back to what Ryan said and ask you also about kind of unit economics. So what's the kind of average time spent in the app? Do you have statistics on that? Do you know how much the kids are actually spending there?
Yes, of course, we collect statistics on daily basis, yes, and we understand the difference between the iOS users and Android users for some reason. And iOS users are using the app on average 7 minutes per usage. It's a small children, you know, you cannot expect them to work long, and the Android users are using like 4 to 5 minutes. So we are working constantly on improvement of the using time. So we are every release which we release up. So there are new features added to understand how can we keep the kids longer with us. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. And also in one of the slides, you mentioned this kind of cultural challenge when introducing this kind of solution before COVID to Germany and the DACH region. So I'm really curious to kind of understand what were your learnings, because yeah, when we look on the market, we can see that mostly the boom is in the emerging economies, US, also recently maybe UK. But what are your kind of learnings about this new shift in the DACH region, or for instance, Germany? I'm really curious.
Yeah, if we look to our statistics and we look to the various geographies where we offer this app right now, so we offer, the app is now played in more than 10 to 15 countries. So 50% of the users are coming from Germany. So that for us, it is a clear indication that the German market needs such a tool, that the parents are looking for such a tool. And by the way, in Germany, the playing time is much higher than everywhere else. Yeah. So that's why it's for us a good indication. And I think Corona changed tremendously the perception of the parents of the digital tools. So now really looking for such tools to give meaningful content to the kids, while instead of giving them stupid YouTube videos, you know. So we are encouraged actually in Germany, yes, for these good results.
Hi, Olga. Just was wondering, because the numbers are quite impressive for the users. So what was your main strategy on acquiring these users, and how do you plan to continue this growth? Like, what is your main way of acquiring the user and your go-to-market generally?
So we are using really limited tools because we have limited money. Of course, we need to save. Yeah. So we just do online marketing. And we developed a few videos supporting. So we are doing some Google ads and Apple ads, and that's it. That's it. And we have a very good results, because with the Google apps, we pay less than 1 franc per user. And with Apple ads, we pay around 3.5 euros per user. So we started with 20. 20 per user, and now it came really down, and it's only thing what we are doing is just online marketing. Of course, we have many different marketing tools which we would like to use as soon as we have money. Yes. So also we would like to go B2B, by the way, soon.
How would you see the B2B angle?
So we would like to offer, for example, in travel, so in airlines or in trains. In Germany, you travel quite a lot by train, so we would like to offer special programs on the trains to entertain the kids. So then we would like to sell it to the Deutsche Bahn or to SBB in Switzerland. By the way, we are located in Switzerland. I think I forgot to mention this. So yes, and and we also, because we have a lot of insurance companies here, we think that another thing would be to offer to health insurers who would like to bind their customers at the early stage and offer for free our app, and of course pay us a certain amount of money. So there are different B2B strategies which we would like to develop. And of course, influencer marketing and and Facebook and Instagram and everything else as well. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great question and great answer, Olga. Actually, very clear and straight. So, any question from the audience? You can write For example, I hope about different games. Okay, I saw one question from the audience from Benedict. He asked, how about doing different games?
Yeah, so we are so our lessons are games, yes, and of course we are doing right now 5 games in 5 subjects, which is math, language, space, socio-cultural games, and physical training. So, but we would like to develop even more games, you know, and learn in a playful way. So, so did I understand the question correctly as well? Maybe, what do you mean with different games, different subjects which we can add to the app, or something else, Benedict? I think he's on mute.
Sorry, I thought you were developing just one game for the time being. Can you hear me?
So, excuse me?
I thought you were developing just one game for the time being.
So it is one game which is multi-subject game.
Okay, I
so
see.
there are
Okay.
connected in one story, connected different games.
I see. Okay.
So for example, we have a story where the kids are going to the zoo, and then they start counting elephants, and then they start do spelling or whatever. It's just different games which are connected 10 ones in one lesson.
I see. Okay, cool. Thank you, Olga.
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you, Benedict, for your contribution. We have another question from John. What about cultural adaptation of games per country region?
Yeah, John, thank you very much for this question. A very important question. And we try to really to value European culture and values. So we are a little bit different as Americans. So that's why I think the ABC mouse couldn't enter yet Europe. So they intended it a couple of times, but didn't succeed. So because there are maybe 2 Americans, or there are very crowded and loud. I don't want to hurt now American feelings. So, but this is European are thinking differently. So more calm. So the design is also completely different. And we try now to develop now for Europe, for Middle Europe, for Germany and France and Italy. So they all more or less are similar cultural wishes. So, and that's why we really pay big attention to culture and also the music. Our music is written by European composers. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Another question from the advisors, from the audience. Doesn't matter if you have any question, please just ask. You can write, open your microphone. Yeah, another question came from Margaret. Do you have data that shows classroom grade improvement?
So we are about to collect this data, and our idea is that the machine remembers the level of development of the child, and at the next lesson gives them the more difficult lesson or less difficult, depending on the success of solving the task for the child. So we're collecting this data to be able to do adaptive and personalized learning. Yes, we have this data.
And there's one more question from Jordan. How much money does the company need to become self-sufficient?
From point of today, we need 1.8 million to become self. Yeah. So if we raise about 2 million, so we don't need to have a second round. The third round, I mean, it will be now second round. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So Olga, if you have any final words, so we just are closing our time. So if you have any final words about anything you want to say.
Thank you very much for your attention. Thank you very much for your questions. Of course, you can address me anytime in LinkedIn or via email, or also now during this conference. So I'm happy to get in contact with you and looking forward to it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And there are a couple of comments. Would you like, if you like to address, Olga, or I will jump into a second.
Are you asking me or No.
No, yeah, okay. There are a couple of comments as well. You can respond them in chat actually, or you can respond them privately, whatever you prefer.
Yes,
We
yes,
can
yes.
move to the.
I would. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for your advice. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Olga.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So, okay, let's move to the second page. It's via HealthTech, will be presented by Rob Miles. Rob, please share your screen and start your presentation. Rob, you are unmute right now. You are muted, sorry. Are you able to open your microphone? I gave the permission right now.
Is this better?
Okay. Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, so well, hi everyone. My name is Rob, also Rob van Staten from the Netherlands. Since February of this year, I'm CEO of Skytree. Skytree is a carbon tech company, a spun-off of the European Space Agency. And after a decade of research and prototyping, we're now bringing carbon capture units to the global market for on-site CO2 utilization. And when you start looking at this space, you will find companies that are focused on building large-scale facilities to take CO2 out of the air, bury it, make it go away, which is great, and then have somebody paying for that. We are focused to deliver CO2 on site there where it's needed, as CO2 is also our friend, as we use it throughout our society. We defined 17 use cases that are in reach of our technology. Yeah. And the first one we focus on is the supply of CO2 to indoor farms that have a current need for CO2. All indoor farms, closed environment, need supplement CO2 to increase the yield of their crops. And currently, most of them get their CO2 through the supply chain you see on the left-hand side. When you are a smaller indoor farm, you get metal cylinders with CO2 delivered to your site and connect to your climate system, to your airflow system. When you are a bigger indoor farm, you have a tank on site, which is filled regularly by a truck that you also see in the picture. So we are introducing our product to be delivered in volume production next year. And on the right-hand side, you see a prototype. It looks not exactly as the finished product will, but it's a working prototype that we tested in the field. And we aim to bring our technology at slightly lower prices than indoor farms currently pay with their current supply chain. So it's lower costs to the indoor farms, which take away any objection to not switch to on-site carbon capture and supply. As the current supply chain is carbon positive, and we help indoor farms to change that to an improved carbon footprint. We're lower at cost, and in addition, it's hassle-free. You don't have to order CO2; it's just always there. And very important is we can integrate the supply of CO2 into the automation system of these indoor farms, as they are tech-heavy companies that like to have unmanned operations and use software to control lighting, control climate, and also CO2. So the market has been very much appreciative on these benefits. So we like to call it the switch, as we believe that all indoor farms should and probably will switch to on-site carbon capture, replacing that current supply chain. We've got other use cases in development as well, but not as advanced as indoor farming, but with a similar supply chain that we can replace by a better supply chain by taking CO2 out of the air on site. we choose indoor farming as that's the one that can be monetized the most quick of all the use cases. But we have others sort of in prototype stage as well. But the stage that we're in with indoor farming is completion of successful field trials, preparing for pre-production and production. So this is a view on, how the product works. It has a couple of components. First of all, the sorbent we use, the chemical substance that take the CO2 molecules out of the air. And when we heat the filter where the sorbent is captured, it releases again. Then there's the filter that has a specific design to house the sorbent in an optimal way for this specific application. And then we have a PCB that controls the process as well as the IoT, as these are connected units to our cloud to measure the CO2 consumption as well as to control maintenance of the unit. During the decade of research, we collected 14 patents in 15 families, and it's all around methodologies and usage of our technology. So on the right-hand side, you see a big indoor farm. It's made out of wood of one of the market leaders. The market is pretty big to tap into. You see the number of clients here on the slide. These numbers come from Grandview Research, a report we purchased. And we distinguish various capacity needs of these indoor farms. A small, typically a 40 feet container would consume up to 3 kilograms. Vertical farms, the smaller ones up to 20 kilograms. The big ones on the right-hand side up to the hundreds of kilograms. We currently are developing the unit for 3 kilograms and 20 kilograms, and later on we want to bring to market a 200 kilo unit. Now, if a vertical farm would need 55 kilograms, we put 3 units of 20 kilograms there. Here's a snapshot of a small indoor farm that uses 6 kilograms. We spend a lot of time in making sure we understand what indoor farms are currently paying. And the price quickly drops per CO2 kilogram if the volume increases, but they all pay rent for either the metal cylinders or for the tanks that are on site. So we are emulating that price model by charging rental for our unit, 3 kilogram, 150, 20 kilogram, 450, and then we charge per CO2 kilogram generated on site. We offer a rental plus CO2 price, CO2 as a service, but we can also sell our unit, as we will then sell the filters that are required, as they need to be replaced every 9 to 12 months. So we call it the Nespresso model.
And by the way, Rob, we are almost done. Could you please speed up a bit?
Yeah, okay. So there's a lot of interest from the market. Here you see the schedule. We're bringing to market the products in summer of 2023. Then we scale up to build a nice volume of recurring revenue. Management team is very seasoned and with a proven track record. Our financials with indoor farming build up to a cash break-even situation in 2024. We're raising 6.5 million euro, the pre-money valuation of 20 million. And we are inviting investors to join a syndicate that we're forming to complete this round in Q4. We're in the middle of a bridge round with convertible loans that close at the equity round, and which we brought in 600K so far, and we're confident to get in a little bit more prior to the equity round.
Great, thanks so much, Rob. Gentian, would you like to start?
Yes, Batuhan. First question would be in terms of, I saw that you already did one pilot and you have commitments from others. What would be your typical customer, your sweet spot? Because there's a lot of let's say, companies that could benefit from this? So what would be your sweet spot?
Yeah, actually, the whole market is our target. We aim to start in both the US and Europe at the same time. Our sweet spot, furthermore, would be capacity up to, let's say, 150, 160 kilograms. Otherwise, we need to put too many units on one side. So for the bigger greenhouses, we would be looking at our 200 kilogram unit that's still in design phase.
Understood. And in terms of the funding, so because this seems a very capex heavy let's say startup. So in terms of funding, how far is this bridge round going to get you?
The bridge round is targeted to close at 1 million and brings us to early next year. So we aim to close the equity round as well. If the equity round would take a little bit longer, then we will continue to bring in convertible loans, which give a discount of 20% on the valuation at equity.
Got it. But I think my question was more in terms of, let's say, the cost that you have per one unit, and what kind of, let's say, what kind of validation are you looking for when you raise the next round, right? Because you have 1 million to work with a very capex heavy business. So are you looking to have, let's say, 10 pilots before you raise the next round, or how are you seeing it?
I understand your question. So we are pre-producing 10 pilot units ready in March, which there's already a waiting list for. So we're picking, very relevant customers to work with. The costs to build those 10 units are included in the financing, as well as the components we need to produce the volume targeted in 2023. Now, if we would sell above the numbers we predict, or if the preference of customers is to buy more than the current rent ratio in our model, we would require additional funding, because the rental will spread out the revenue. But that's okay, because then we have a contract base that we could go even to a bank, or the company valuation will be much higher and we could do another equity round. In our plans, we don't foresee to do an equity round, even if the balance changes or we grow faster, because then there's other financial instruments we can tap into.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gentian. Anna, would you like to go ahead?
Sure. So definitely very interesting. It got me really excited because this is something kind of new that I'm seeing out there, also targeting very specific group as of now, this indoor farming. And what's kind of for me to better to understand, what's the average number of units per client? So what kind of size of the clients are you targeting?
The honest answer is, Anna, we don't know. We're on discovery to figure that out. On the first group that want to join us after we published the successful field test, that includes household names like Planet Farms, Infarm, Bowery, Let Us Grow. So we know that they run, sometimes quite a lot of indoor farms. When you look at shipping containers, we are looking to integrate with the builders of the shipping containers. So we are integrated in the shipping containers when they sell it to restaurants or retailers that want to start their own indoor farm. So then you have like one client, which is the reseller of the shipping containers. So they could go up maybe in the hundreds. But this is what we are now investigating. We've been to build our brand and to attract senior business development people, but we're also discovering, the exact pattern of our markets. But I will say this, Anna, when we looked at the market size, and we come from the notion that most of them, if not all, will switch to this new way of carbon utilization, we estimated a few % market penetration That's not very courageous, right? Why would we limit ourselves to a few percent? Are we not confident? Yeah, but that, higher than that would be upside to our model. We created quite a conservative financial model based on just a small penetration.
Yeah. And how hard is it for the, as an example, this indoor farm to implement your solution? So how much time does it take to implement this kind of whole unit or number of units and make it start working?
The physical integration is super simple, as it's electricity and air flows from outside and a circuit in the indoor farm. There's more work to be done on the automation integration, which is effort. We need to put in effort with our API to make it controllable by the automation system of the indoor farms. But we want to be, very good at that. And that's also an entry barrier of any other player who wants to come to the market, as it's super sticky. If we, manage to sign up many of the larger vertical farms and the creators of these shipping containers, then we're integrated in their tech. It's install, and once a unit is out there, it's super sticky.
Thank you, Rob. Any further question, Anna?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Ryan, would you like to continue?
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Interesting. And I like CO2 as a service. I like that. Just when talking about the mechanics of the pilot that you have in the addendum, Growy, can you just talk a little bit about, I saw there was you achieved within 70 minutes, reach the required carbon dioxide target of 1200 ppm. Is there any benchmark on what the average is, or I'm just curious how that sort of compares?
Not really. It is a bit of uncharted territory also for the indoor farms.
Yep.
What we do know is their requirement for enriched air, 1200 to 1600 ppm. So we produce an enriched airstream. It's not purified CO2, but it's enriched. And to that level, our tech is now proven to work. It even exceeded our lab tests a little bit. But there's no other than that requirement, there's no benchmark to work.
Got it. And it looks like you've got 20 companies that were interested, 15 committed. Of the companies that were interested that did not commit, why not?
Because we haven't contacted them yet. We sent out a notification to Vertical Daily, a daily newsletter, who published it. And based on that publication, most inquiries came to us. We also had a presentation at an event in the US, where the other half comes from. But we just, it's only a couple of weeks back. We didn't have time to follow up yet with all of them.
Yep, got it. Cool, thank you.
A question for me, I guess, when a client decides to rent or purchase your service, how long do they typically take to sort of get returns, right? Like positive returns after the installation and getting up and running?
Yeah, so I would say immediately after the unit is activated, as we replace a current supply chain, so there should not be an interruption in their CO2 supply. So we immediately get to the same level as the current supply chain that we replace.
Yeah, any further question from the advisory panel? Cleo, Ryan, Anna, Gentian.
Maybe just one question. What kind of investor are you looking for? Because you're still on very early stage, though just as of now one pilot behind, but you are looking for a pretty big round. So I'm wondering what's your kind of ideal investor to invest in you right now?
Yeah, so we have soft commitments from investment funds that have a public origin here in the Netherlands to match. So of the 6.5 million, we would be looking for investment funds that want to take the other half, 3.25 million. Probably that could be a syndicate of several investors that have an appetite to join us at this stage. Or, it could be a bigger investor that picks up the whole ticket. But I think it's more likely that we're forming a syndicate, which we aim to close in Q4. So can I take the question that's in the chat about the founder?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Is Max not involved anymore?
Max is certainly involved. He was the CEO and the founder of Skytree, and he's managed it for over 10 years. When he asked me to help him to look at his strategy, we came to the pivot to stop working for a single company that provides the funds as an extended R&D, or to work for a subsidy and stop at the prototype once built, which was Skytree, and convert that into, okay, let's productize and bring products to the global market instead. And then Max said, that's a great idea and that's my dream, but I can't. Can you then become CEO, as you have experience in building global tech leaders? So that's what we did. And my good friend Max is a part-time paid advisor to the company. And he's also the thought leader. So, I present to investors, but he presents to the press and on stage. So he's the visionary, the thought leader, and a product advisor to our company.
Okay, and we have one more question from the audience. And also we have less than 2 minutes, so just to let you know. So from Federico, hi Rob, how big is the average drop in efficiency when filter get close to replacement time?
I don't know the question by heart. We do have graphs on this. It's an extremely important topic because it determines the lifetime of filters. With the knowledge I have on top of my heart, on average, we expect them to be replaced after 9 months. Then they're saturated. Then it starts to drop. But it's not like a hard cutoff. It's the graph starts to lose capacity. Maybe one remark to that. We bring to market our technology with the filters, the filter technology, the sorbent state as it is now. We will bring it to market, install it, while our R&D team is working on the next generation of sorbent and a change in the filter design that you can just click in the units in the field. So we always improve the efficiency of our filters, as that's where our R&D efforts are focused on.
Great, thanks so much, Rob. It was a super interesting presentation. Very good answer. Now we can go for our fourth presentation. Damon, are you there? I hope you are. Oh, yes, you do. Damon, can you hear me? I can't hear you. We are not muted, but I don't know why I can't hear you. No. Nope.
What about now?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Good. Okay. Shall I jump on then?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Cool. Right. Just full screen this screen, I think. Full screen. Into full screen. Right. Yeah, thanks. So I'm Damon Rand from CEPRO. Our company is deploying microgrids in the UK new build housing sector in order to deliver net zero homes in the new home sector. So yeah, let me tell you about that. So yeah, firstly, what's the problem? I used to spend a lot of time on them. I think it's very clear at the moment that the rising energy bills that we have right now just demonstrate the volatility of fossil fuels. What we have now seen, particularly over the last decade, is that solar plus storage has actually become cheaper and more stable depending on fossil fuel infrastructure, particularly when you're putting in new homes. If you put solar rooftop, battery storage associated with that housing, you can actually undercut the main grid pricing. So the UK is aiming to deliver net zero homes by 2030, but that comes with a cost. Solar and storage are obviously still relatively expensive technologies, and there's also heat pumps to add to that to fully decarbonise housing. And at the same time, we've got really rapidly rising house prices. So we are seeing that house builders are actually not putting technology in when they're building new houses because they don't want to raise the sticker price of the house in the market. So what we've been working on as a solution is we have been building microgrids that are clustering a whole new build housing estate together as a single energy asset, and then we're selling that project on to impact investors who then secure long-term cash flows from the projects. And the ambition in the long term is for those impact investors to be pension funds, really seeking long-term investments with safe and stable returns. The microgrids themselves integrate heat pumps, community solar, energy storage, and both cars and electric vehicle charging for private cars. And what our company does is we originate and develop the business case impact investor for each project. And then once it's up and running, we create it and report and return revenues to those investors over the 30-year period. So we've delivered 2 second generation large-scale demonstrator projects, as well as a set of earlier first generation projects over a 7-year period. And so that, just to give you an example, this project here, Water Lilies, is a 30 microgrid in Bristol. The impact investor, we sold the project to them for 540,000 and made a gross profit of 85,000 on that. And a similar larger project in here is an 800,000 pound investment. We've made a gross profit of 140,000 on that project. Our sort of unique selling points and unfair advantage I've got here is that we've built our own and software platform that does machine learning in each property based on the smart meter. And so we have the relation with each customer on the property, and what they get is they get a smart system that optimizes and controls, particularly heating in their homes, in a way where they can retain fit, but we run their heating systems in a way that drives down the lowest cost for them over time. And also we have, I think it's the largest portfolio of grid scale Tesla batteries in the UK right now. It's the equivalent of 400 home batteries running behind the meter in the 3 microgrids where we've got batteries on them. And this is an example of the sort of size of battery coming in. They're container sized batteries that we're putting in. It's equivalent of 40 electric vehicles portfolio. So meter coming both out of our smart meters and out of our battery storage systems gives us a big head start when the industry moves so slowly. So the business plan is to scale the company by 2030 in the new build sector to £100 million valuation. That is just the new build sector. We're also targeting the emerging retrofit market for microgrids, which is projected to be 100 times larger than the new build housing sector. Going to use a beachhead in the new build sector to then bring our technology across to retrofit, where it is a key challenge for the UK, but it relies on grants, whereas our new build business model is now a fully commercial model, and we can deliver these projects without subsidy. We've had a great selection of angel investors across investment, including Triple Point Investment, UBS, Infrared Cap Partners, IHS Market, JP Morgan's Renewals Division. These are individuals who believe in what we're doing and have put their own personal money into the company. There's 2 of us in the core team plus 2 staff at the moment, but we're seeking an investment of 500,000, of which we've raised about a third, 160,000 to date, in order to grow the company, get to the next. And then about this time next year, we'd raise a larger amount, particularly to scale into the retrofit market, as well as to further develop the software platform to secure our lead in the new build housing sector in the UK. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Damon. Great presentation. So yeah, Ryan, would you like to go ahead and give your stack?
Sure, thank you. What do you project as the maintenance costs? So there's obviously a lot of hardware involved here, but how do you sort of projecting the maintenance costs involved?
So the maintenance cost is associated with the battery storage system. So we have fixed price on maintaining the battery over it's got a 15-year life actually, from Tesla. In every other case, we have focused very much in turning OPEX into OPEX here. And so we project maintenance costs to be low. Particularly, we don't actually own the heating equipment. We manage the cost of the heating equipment, so that the cost of maintaining the heating equipment is with home. We're only maintaining the solar and the EV charging. So we are taking up slice off the revenue of about 10% of revenue for maintenance in this sort of system.
Got it. And is there one particular entry point that you have relative to the solar, the community battery, the pumps, the community charging? Like, is there one that you feel like is going to be the more of the crystallized entry point?
Well, the key entry point for us really is the delivery of grids. So every house builder, everyone building a new housing estate today has to put a new grid in. So we take over as delivery partner for the grid across the site. And it's that the ownership of that grid, we keep it in ownership. That means that really any electric asset can benefit from being in a private grid. So the benefits of being in a private grid is that all of the profit margins are retained for our impact investors, and they're not sort of lost to the national suppliers. They're sort of kept out of the estates. So EV charging is very important. Solar is important. The battery trees are important, but really it's actually the stack that is, it makes the whole model quite resilient. So it's to revenues in one part of the stack. The overall financial returns of the project is quite resilient to the sort of external market driven issue with one portion of the stack. So yeah, it's about having all of those things delivered as a package, not about any one of them being particularly dominant.
Yep, got it.
Yep.
What's the biggest risk right now?
Not getting to market fast enough. We've got an early lead, the two demonstrators we've delivered are the largest community microgrids in the UK operating. People are very in the sector, and we do have the barrier of entry that construction is quite risk averse, and so the head start, the lead time is difficult for people to catch up because of construction lead times. But the biggest risk for us is we move too slowly and we don't establish ourselves as the leader at a greater scale and volume.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Quick question, sorry, from me, just on the selection of the initial beachhead customer segment. Why did you choose this one?
Yeah, because there are regulatory barriers to the retrofit market, which are being slowly unlocked, and they're being unlocked faster as a result of the energy crisis. People are starting to recognize storage as a solution to the energy crisis, sort of belatedly. But the new build market was wide open in the UK. There was a specific exemption where we are within the regulations that allows us to do this. That's a UK exemption, regulatory exemption, and so we've a business model that is wide open. We do need to develop and support the process to unlock regulation in the retrofit sector. And there's 2 or 3 startups that are supporting that as well.
And in the future, which verticals or sectors do you think are going to be the biggest and most interesting for you?
Really in sort of route to market, the social housing sector is a big sector, but it is saturated with vendors. So we have actually focused on private and owner-occupier homes, and private sector delivery has been underserved and undersupplied. So yeah, we're focusing really on the pure commercial space. Yeah, so there's 10 house builders that control most of the new build market in the UK. At the moment, we've not been further enough long and proof target the top 10. But yeah, the goal is to secure a contract pipeline through several of the largest house builders as route to market. The retrofit market is something that is just developing, and we don't have a solid route to market strategy for the 100 times larger market yet. That's something that this investment will help us develop further the coming year.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chloe. Anna, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah, sure. I would like to understand a bit better how this kind of project development as a service works in practice. So do you do it in-house, or are you working with some external parties on that?
Yeah, exactly. So yes, we have done it in-house, and we want to continue to deliver project as a service in-house to a much greater extent. But at the same time, we also want to develop operating through third parties who delivering the project development particularly on further regions. So our expansion model is to expand where third parties are delivering the project management. In our own home market, which is in the southwest of England and Wales, that's a territory of about 10 million. It's about 15% of the UK. We would continue to deliver project management as a service and the delivery of the software, technology, and operations of the microgrids in further flung regions, then we would aim to build up a third-party set of channel partners who would deliver the on-the-ground project management. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also in the last slide, you mentioned on the allocation of the investment, you mentioned that you kind of plan to make it a recurring business and develop a software. Could you kind of elaborate on the software that you plan to develop to actually bring these recurring revenues?
Yeah, so it's tied into the previous answer, actually. So when we do everything in-house, which is the way we've done it so far, without third-party involvement, we just essentially charge the impactor a slice of their overall investment. That's just essentially a fixed fee, and then we charge a relatively small ongoing fee for operations over time. And we're going to be moving, particularly when we're working with third parties, to a larger recurring operating fee locked in for 30 years. Yeah, sort of farming out the upfront capital fees to the third parties. So it's that transition from delivering these projects with a fairly light soft form that we've got today to really making the software platform be putting that forward based on the smart meter and allowing third parties to do what we do in-house, which will allow us to scale much farther than us delivering everything on site on the whole project. So we've got the core of all of the elements built today, but total investment so far into the company is less than $500,000 over the last 7 years. So we got a lot of software work and to do on that we've built. My background, actually, by the way, is a software developer. That's my personal background.
Thank you.
Oh, Batuhan, I think you're on mute.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I was saying, Gentian, do you have any question? Anything to add? Now we are muted, Gentian.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah, I was thinking, so how do you plan to kind of like sell this more at scale? So who are you targeting? Is there any kind of like multiplier that you're thinking, maybe like a developer, or how do you plan to increase the number of the clients in the beginning?
Yeah, so when you think about the house builder market, there are some sort of box builders and they just build boxes and move on. But there are some of when I talk about the top 10 house builders in the UK, some of those house builders have a much wider where they do more placemaking. So they're very involved longer term with properties, maybe they even own them. So when we think about third parties, developers like that, who yes, we might deliver management for the first 5 or 10 projects with them, but then they would be able to develop capacity in-house on the project management side, and we'll be able to simply sell the technology, the software, and the ongoing monitoring amounts on a much more light touch, more annually recurring revenues kind of basis. So that's the sort of ideal customer who has a broad breadth of services that they do in-house, training them up and having this be something they integrate really into every development they deliver. Yep.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Gentian. And we get one question from Margaret. What's your gross margin?
It actually varies from project to project. So you saw here, I can't do the maths on my head, but it's about 15% on this project. But it's important to understand that actually our gross margin at the moment is held back by the cost of battery storage, which is declining very rapidly. It's in a bit of a pause this year, but over the next 8 years, that dry down of the cost of battery storage we'll get sort of free gross margin improvement as the wider industry drives down the cost of both solar and storage, really, and EV charging, all of that equipment. We can retain some of the we can increase gross margins because at the same time that the asset investment is based on the rising cost of energy as well. So we can start charging more for microgrids as the cost of energy rises as well. The margins right now are weaker than they will be later in the decade.
Yeah, thank you, Damon. And we actually now almost done. So if you have any final word, Damon, we can hear very short, then we can move to the final presentation.
Look forward to reach out to me directly by email or if you're interested to know more. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually shared link to the pitch decks of all the presenting companies. I will share it again, so you will find the email address, contact details on the final slide on the pitch decks, so then you can directly reach out to them. So
thanks a lot.
Great. Then we can go for our final presentation. Fieldstream. Stefan will be presenting to Fieldstream. Stefan, feel free to open your camera, microphone, and go for it. I guess I have a bit internet connection right now. The problem.
Well, we can hear you, and can you hear me?
Yes.
Excellent. Well, I am dialing in from San Francisco, so I'm actually sitting close to that nice bridge behind you. We are here talking to our co-founder at Stanford and chasing some angels. So really happy to be here today, and I hope that we can energize the last 20 minutes. So let's share my screen here. Let's see. That's not right. I turn it up another. Right. Var share.
Yeah, now we can see your full screen.
Well, excellent. All right, so we are in Silicon Valley, where the cradle of marketing, and we have a mission to transform the marketing industry from art to science by delivering predictable ROI. And I'm here with my co-founder Jens, who's the engineer behind this team, so he will be part of the answering all the questions. If we look at the three pillars of the art of marketing as a starting point, it really how to choose which channels to market in, how to choose which creatives to put in these channels, and then how to calculate the ROI from your investments in this marketing. These are the three pillars of the art of marketing, right? Let's see. We are creating a global as-a-service solution predicting consumer intent and marketing ROI by pulling neuro, creative, and ad spend data. It's basically an AI model where we aim to target small and medium business model size companies, where they pool their data to predict exactly how to spend their marketing money. So you look at the data, you build the hypothesis month by month, what you want to achieve, you get the ROI, and you build a model month after month. This has usually been a model done one every second year by large corporations. So we are creating a unique, like Coca-Cola experience for the small and medium-sized businesses in the world that has never been close to this kind of a solution. The market industry is enormous. It's $1 trillion business. If we just look at the future of software, it's $3.5 billion for image recognition and $3 billion for ROI marketing. So we predict that we can take about 100 million of that in 5 years' time, which should really be a doable task, we think. They're basically three things that making this critical right now. So the first one is that it's really, really difficult to calculate your media ROI with the intense media fragmentation going on. There are so many channels to choose from, and to just calculate which channels that gives result is almost an impossible task now. So AI is perfect for that. The click-driven algorithm developed by Google 20 years ago has been enormously successful for search. If you have an intent, you go into Google search, you choose your ad word. It has been horrible for display advertisement, where we as an audience for 15 years has been targeted by ads that we do not want to see. It has learned us to dislike ads fundamentally. And all the marketing software in the world is basically based on 0.2 click rates, optimized around that. And this has led to the third-party cooking now being phased out. So 2024, there's an enormous measurement gap in the market, how to measure your media investments. And that is really the gap that we are gearing for. So we are looking for 2 revenue streams right now. The first one we call our marketing analyzer, which now is in the market. We charge $800 per month for small business, $1,500 for a medium-sized business, where they pool their data into our self-serving model, and they can calculate which channels that they're going to optimize in. That's the first leg. The other leg is the one we've been working on, this neuro solution. We began 2017 doing large neuro measurements with Stanford University. So we're building this with Karolinska. We basically pull brain maps into imaging together with MarTech data to map out how you actually respond to marketing online. So you have like a brain click, we call it instead. So how to actually make people over time be interested in your brand rather than annoying people on a very short time notice. And that's going to be like, we continue with that lab over the next year and a half, and then we build that into our software. But that's like the development side. The other one, the first platform, is currently in place. So those are the 2 legs. The end of the product will basically be in 2024 when we pool both the marketing analyzer and the creative analyzer together. No one is currently doing this. You take both creative data and you have marketing data, creating an extremely robust model how to predict your marketing. We also use something we call federated learning. That basically means that we can pool data together from all the participating advertisers who are willing to share their data for the model to be stronger. Basically creating a data marketplace for small and medium-sized businesses willing to add that to their revenue stream. So not only are you predicting your own marketing better, you can also sell, if you're a car salesman in Essex, you can sell it to car salesmen in Sweden. You don't feel any competition with them. And just to see how to improve your model. We currently have 2 media agencies in Sweden. We have signed on the first 2 clients, so we are onboarding them. We launched our product in June, so this is really new. We are onboarding the first clients, and this is the competition we have. On the y-axis, you see the software automation for creative, and on the x-axis you have the ROI for channels. So in the right-hand corner you have our competition, the measure, the self-report, and etc. And on to the left you have the big media agencies doing this on a consulting basis, charging hundreds of thousands of dollars, or we charge pretty much 10,000 per year. So we think we are the only one capturing both creative optimization and channel optimization, creating a superior product in this space. We plan to break even 2024, and 2024 is also when we make the main leap as the third-party cookies being phased out globally. So it's going to be huge demand. We had our seed funding 2021, pretty much a year ago, 300,000. We are now raising 2 million. We have raised 1.35 already, so we have 650 to go. So we hope to get that here in San Francisco over the next week or so, or someone on this call. And we hope to do our A series round 2023 in Q4. This is our team. We are 11 people currently. We have 5 data scientists, 4 developers, and me and my partner doing the business development side. So we have academic rigor from Stanford, Karolinska Institute, Stockholm University, etc. So we feel like we have a really, really strong, robust team to carry this out. 7 minutes. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Stefan. Great presentation. So who wants to jump in to make a comment, a question?
Yeah, happy to. So I think it looks very interesting. I would love to understand how this looks like from a client's perspective. So let's say I have a startup, I want to implement this. How does the onboarding process look like, and how scalable is that? And also, how easy is it to integrate all the different data sources that I might have?
Okay. Well, there were a couple of questions in that. Let's start with the first one. The main money we are raising now is to turn this into a self-serving tool. The current clients that we onboard now we are developing their self-serving tool. That is the first step. These small media agencies serve all like 50 clients each. So they want to own the product. They can still understand the data. They understand the data sources, and the data sources are already collected. We're also building out a lot of connectors to make it even more robust, but we have to be a little bit careful over the next year which connectors we actually build in, because there are like hundreds of thousands, and very many of them are still small niche. So we think we have to trial out the most important ones and just start with them, because the market is so humongous we have like 200,000 businesses to go after. So if we start to customize and connectors from the beginning, it will be a never-ending game for us. We have to find the most robust ones and go from that, and then put people in line to as we add more connectors. So it's like a reverse problem for us. But the whole model is to be self-serving. I mean, these are small to medium-sized businesses. These are not the Coca-Colas. They are supposed to learn this. There are a couple of data sources. They can do it month by month. And we see already like 15 to 30% increase for the first 3 clients we have on board. So for a small to small-sized business not to be able to buy marketing services from an agency, we feel like this is a no-brainer for them.
Yeah, understood. And you said that there's already some integrations there, so it's already possible for them for the clients to upload their stuff into the platform and then have the AI work its magic.
Yeah, that's correct. I will have the engineer answer that question because he can do it more specifically.
Yeah, sure. No, but it's true. So it's possible for the clients to upload the data today, and we're building, as Stefan mentioned, we'll continuously building more connectors or more data sources to be able to do the self-serve, totally automated.
Got it.
Yeah. And within SharePoint right now. The agencies, yeah. So there's many of the agencies use SharePoint for all the data from the clients already. So that means it's very easy to onboard them right away without any development right now. So that is a fairly smooth process already.
sorry to continue the question, but is it then prescriptive in terms of, okay, this is what you should do? Like, what is the output from your side?
Excellent question. Obviously, what makes it interesting is to build your own hypothesis month by month. I think one of the flaws of this model in the past is like you guarantee some excellent result, and then it's like, okay, I did that one, and then you don't know what to do. So here you build up your own hypothesis and test it month by month. It's basically your own internal media agency where you see what actually works, and the algorithm helps you make these decisions. So I think that is like the key of the model. So very good question. Yeah.
Understood. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you.
Quick question. You know, it looks like you're going to be aggregating data from all of the customers. Are you going to provide any like benchmarking? Like, is that part of the goal of, if you're collecting everybody's data, are you going to be able to provide benchmarks in terms of what good looks like by vertical or by company size or by advertising channel?
I mean, absolutely. I think there's still like and if you look at the 500 million media agency industry, it's a lot built on industry knowledge, like 50 years of doing cars, you know, kind of what works. So we will just provide benchmark for the clients willing. This has to be based on, I mean, to be able to share, a willingness to share and have a compensation model for it. We just can't build it automatically. So the ones who are willing to share is basically a model in which the ones willing to share will get the result from the others as well. So it's a novelty to that. It's part of like want to be part of this.
What's the reception been of the companies you've talked to today in terms of sharing their data in a, you know, normative database or?
Great. I mean, a lot of companies today, as the third-party cooking is being phased out, they just sit with the first-party data. So they want to start to cooperate with other advertisers. It's a lack in the market for cooperation. So you collaborate a lot already with friendly brands in terms of how to go to market. So you can choose your 10 favorite brands and start to see together results for that actually works over time. But we cannot obviously go to market and ask people like competitors to share. But it's different in the small to medium-sized market. There's a much larger willingness to share than these large, the Cokes and the Pepsis would obviously never share, and the Volvos and the Mercedes, right? But these are different beasts. And this is an enormous market where people do not feel the same competition globally.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Do you have a sense of the relative performance of your, say, channel optimization technology versus others in the space, or you know, other solutions that your customer could be comparing you against?
Yes, we have done our due diligence, and to our knowledge, we are the only one utilizing a deep neural network. I mean, we have this five data scientists in Iran that are absolutely amazing. So we have implemented a deep neural network the past year, together with a statistical modeling that we think is world class. We don't think as far as we know, no one is near us in terms of the advancedness of the modeling. That, I mean, obviously Blackwood 7 has been around for 7 years. They were just bought by Kantar, but they're going after the big brands. So that's like big, heavy consulting projects where they're going to charge like hundreds of thousands over a couple of months to make this work. That is not our model. Our model is built for small and medium-sized businesses where this is a robust model from the begin with. They can test month by month by themselves.
Right. So from a cost benefit perspective, do you have a sense of, you know, relative performance? For example, like better returns for the same dollars, or better conversion, or otherwise?
These the market we are going after has, to a very large extent, never done this kind of calculations. It's been too expensive for them. So this usually costs like between let's say $100,000 to $1 million to do one calculation each year. If we are down to $10,000 per year, they have never been able to do this before. So we are giving them the Coca-Cola experience. The big car salesperson in the middle of Sweden that sells cars for a couple of millions each year has never done this. They can now, for the first time, implement software that helps them with this. That's way cheaper than if they would go to one of our competitors or to a large-scale agency. It's probably 90% reduction in cost. The cost for these calculations are going to go drastically down over the next 5 years. We are the first one pushing it down because we are starting with a segment that hasn't been able to afford the old one. We will build our model on these segments and then make it more and more robust. Obviously, in a couple of years, be able to do all the big ones too, because then we are ready. But then our models are so robust, being built up as thousands of smaller businesses. But that's not the goal now. We need to get to A round now. So that it's not important.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Cleo.
Anna, do you have any question? Any comment?
Yeah, maybe just last question, because I had a bit of hard time understanding what specific features your tool has. If you could just walk me through briefly, if you could walk me through that.
The features of the model.
Yeah, maybe not the features of the model, but I want to kind of understand better what kind of outcome the end user sees. So what kind of recommendations, what kind of specific analytics can they perform? Because I know there are tons of different marketing solutions focused on analytics, but each of them focuses on specific niche. And I want to kind of better understand where is your focus in that sense?
Of course, this is a very special niche, I would say. The ROI marketing is basically to see per channel what your investments have been given you in terms of sales. If that channel is utilized or underutilized or overutilized, it basically gives you the advice on how much money to put into each channel. That is what it does. That is what the media agencies of the world charges 500 billion for. That's what we basically tell you. How to invest your marketing money, how to optimize it, to which channel, and how to optimize your creative.
Got it. I might repeat myself, but I had some internet issues. But so what kind of data touch points are you using? What are the main data touch points to kind of calculate this?
The first one, the most important one, is 2 years back data of all your media investments. So we look at 2 years of all your investment in AdWords, Facebook, TV, etc., etc. That's a bulk. Then you add all your sales data. So the AI calculate from between the investment and the sales data where the investment, which ones that actually paid off. Then you add macro factors like unemployment, COVID, interest rate, etc., etc. It's also put into the model, as well as competitive data. Those are the 4 main sources of data. And your own media investments the past 2 years are the most important one. And then say your own results, obviously. Yeah, so those 2 are the main ones. And then all the factors that has an impact on your business.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah, thank you, Anna. Any further question from the panel or audience? Please feel free to use chat, open your microphone, camera. I remember one question from the past. Maybe I can bring this up here right now.
Yeah.
So what would be the main benefit from using your company rather than other agencies out there, something like that?
Our client base has rarely used like this kind of calculations before. So it's an extreme precise method of measuring how to invest your marketing data. That is way cheaper than anything you have used before and more precise. So you basically pay 10,000 a year to optimize your $1 million budget and get to 15 to 30% increase. Calculate that. I mean, these are enormous amount of money you will save. And you will also, once you start to understand, these are small and medium-sized businesses, they know their own data. Once they start to see month by month how these data streams flow, they will learn so much about how to optimize their marketing over time. They will take great pride in utilizing this sticky product. This is an investment for them. We turn it really from guesswork to science. It's going to be an extremely important routine for the marketing department on a monthly basis for these companies.
Yeah, great answer. And Anna, I guess because of your connection issues, you just prefer to write on chat. So I can read for you if you want.
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, and is asking.
Yeah.
What's your traction right now? How many small, medium businesses are using Fieldstream?
So right now, our go-to-market strategy has been to sign up small and medium-sized agencies because they have client portfolios. So we launched this in June. So we right now have 2 media agencies and one management consultant with approximately 50 end clients. We have meetings lined up over the next week with all the major global advertising networks, all interested in this model for their small and medium-sized businesses, because they do not have the manpower to deal with that side of their business. They charge £200 per hour. No small, medium-sized business can afford that. So they will use this tool for their small and medium-sized businesses. So our go-to-market strategy is to work with the people that understands marketing and data to heavily reduce cost so it makes sense for them to serve their small and medium-sized clients.
Absolutely.
So we literally will have hundreds, I mean, again, this is like hundreds of clients potentially just within the next month, I would say, because we work through the agencies who really need this for their clients. And they can, they can add, and hopefully we will add our own clients as well. But over the next month, I would say that's the go-to-market strategy.
Absolutely. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stefan. I think we can finish this here, wrap up. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. It was really, really pleasure to having you all here. Thank you for the advisory panel, Cleo, Anna, Gentian, Roy. Thanks so much. And all the presenting companies, Clever for Education, via HealthTech, Skytree, CEPRO, Fieldstream. That was a great presentation. Great feedback question. Very engaged audience, actually. Great question from them as well. So yeah, thanks so much for all of you. Is anyone have final comments? Let's go ahead and we can just jump pause.
This is the most important slide. Get in touch. We have 1.35 invested. We need another 650. We are very close. We have 67% of the round. So we need just one more third, and then we're ready for the next year. So anyone, please get in touch. Thank you for your time.
Definitely agree. Please get in touch with Stefan. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. And I hope to see you our next conference.